have everything set up, and we're going to do the same sets. They're going to be a little bit smaller because my swatches are small, but this way I can keep the larger sheets to actually work on. And so let me zoom in for you and then we'll continue. Okay, first up is the cotton rag tub sized cold press paper. So let's see here. I'm going to do the same. This is the cold press paper. It's really a different look to it. Okay, and then I'm trying to use the same colors as I did in my other video so that there's a consistency of what is used. And that way you can judge for yourself. And yes, I will be taking this to look at under the SEM because I just found that fascinating. What do I do with my paper towel? I always have like a ton of paper towels sitting around, like little swatches of it, until I want one, and then I don't have it. I certainly see more texture there. Now the wet on wet technique, I'm not going to use the yellow and red. Last time I used yellow and red, and I didn't feel like it really showed up very well. Like you could see the red, but oh that moves nice. Yay! So I'm going to use I like how that travels. That travels nice. And it's staying wet for quite a bit of time, you know, it's not getting sucked up real fast. And this is still got a shimmer, or not, it's still got a glaze to it. In this section I did a bleed, where I drew a line and then caused it to bleed out from there, but I'm going to actually draw a bit with my pens, because part of what I'm doing this for is so that I can find out what type of paper I want to do my illustrations on. So it's not like I'm doing anything fancy. I want to see how the pen works on it. And the cold press has a rather nice texture. It's certainly, I mean, it's a cold press, but I mean, I could definitely do illustrations on it. It's not so rough that I can't, you know, paint. Ignore my cat. He likes to talk in the background sometimes. Yeah, I'm talking about you. He's very chatty. Still nice and hot enough to do some nice bleeds with. Oh yeah. One of the things I was going to do is see if I can lift. Oh, that works. It's not such a bad lifting going on there, and it doesn't look like it's really damaged the paper. I mean, I barely, you know, some paper you start lifting and it starts getting all wonky, but that's not bad at all, and that lifted up really nice. Blues are hard, especially phthalo blue. That sucker goes down and you're sunk. Okay, so this is the cotton rag rough. So this is cold press, this is rough. Let's see here. And it is definitely a much rougher surface than this one is. Let's see here. And you can see how it really falls down into those sections. I like the way it looks. Very, very vibrant. I love wet and wet. It just, like I said, it's not something you can do with just any painting medium. You pretty much have to do it with watercolor. It's just something magical about watercolor, I think. Now you can make some really great textured backgrounds with this stuff. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I am not sponsored by anyone, so I bought this stuff on my own free will. They gave it to me. Nobody's expecting me to write a good review. This is just my own personal, you know, looking at it. Some more red in there. Look at how that kind of goes real spidery out there. I like it a lot. Let that dry a bit while I doodle. Definitely rougher to illustrate on. I can feel it grabbing the pen. I mean, you could still do it. The lines still look pretty good, but it's definitely a rougher, let's say. That one is. If you're wondering where I heard about this, because I've had various people comment on my last video about different papers that I should try, and I heard about this from Mind of Watercolor. Actually, I don't know if you've ever been to his Facebook or his video feed, but ooh, that really. That's not. Anyway, sorry. ADD there. Anyway, one of his first videos, well, let's start back. One of his latest videos, he was talking about what was on his watercolor paper shelf. And he referenced back that his first video was on what type of watercolor paper you should get. And, since it was something that I've been looking into, I decided to look up some of the stuff that he had, and then, you know, several people had also posted on my review page different papers that they liked and suggested, so I have a couple more coming. And there, that's what I was trying to do. Yeah, I like that. Sorry, I was trying to make it bleed, and instead I ended up doing a wet and wet, and that's not what I was hoping for. Now, let's see here. In that time. Now, some of the things you need to keep in mind when you go and buy watercolor paper, and this is things that I've been learning, is you want it to be sized, and sized is not the size of the paper, and nobody talks about what sized is really. They just say it's got to be sized. What does that mean? What it means is that they put gelatin in with the mix, both, and if it's internally sized, that means they put it in with the paper mash while it's still in the mixing tub. And then if it's externally sized, that means they put sizing on it, or the gelatin on it, as it's going through the roller process, which is more the manufacturing. I think when they hand make it, they don't really need to do that. I mean, it's a different process. And I like how that gradient came out a lot better than this one, but I'm really liking the texture on this. This isn't what I was expecting to be liking, you know. I was expecting to like this more, but I really like this. This, it's really hard to take up the color. I mean, here it did okay, but over here it really didn't do too well. It did a lot better over here. So let's move our camera down and then you can see the other two. Okay. Now this is the hot press, cotton rag tub sized. Such a squeaky chair. So some of the other things you need to think about when you're getting watercolor paper is that it's 100% cotton. Now you can get kind of student grade papers that aren't 100% cotton, and some of them you can do decent stuff on, some of them not so much. I've been doing good stuff with the Canson. It is not the Canson that comes in the blue container or paper, whatever. And I've been pretty happy with it. But it's not 100% cotton. And that does make a difference sometimes, depending on what you're doing. I found in my other video that I could tell a difference between my washes, between the Arches and the Canson. So that's something to consider. I'm trying to make sure I got enough pigment here to do my bit. So this is the hot press, and what it means by hot press is they actually roll it. They have two metal rollers, and it smooths it down. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and paint at the same time. I'm not always successful. Now, Twin Rocker offers, you can get watercolor paper that's cold pressed on one side and hot pressed on the other side. And I think that's a nice option for people who are still trying to figure out what they want to do. I have been trying to use I got a Canson Heritage hot press and Arches hot press, and I'm trying to work more with the hot press, but I'm gonna tell you it's hard because it seems like hot press is just it gets grainy. I don't think it can take the heavy washes. I'm not sure if maybe I'm not doing it right, but I'm just not 100% sold on the hot press. Yes, it's smoother, so when you're doing your drawings, it comes across smoother, but I mean, those look fine, and even on the rough it looks good. So it really depends on, I think, how much time you're spending on your drawings. I love the dandelions. I'm sure you're tired of seeing me draw the same thing over and over. I want it to be consistent. And I want it to be comparable. That was one of the feedbacks on my watercolor pencil review, was that I used different colors, and they felt that if I had used the same color, then they could have compared better. But I didn't want to buy, you know, several different pencils in the same color when, well, let's face it, I'm getting them for my use. And how long is it going to take me to use up all the same colors? That one didn't bleed as much as the ones up above. I've also noticed that the hot press is harder to lift anything out of. I will also be reviewing the Cansen's hot press and the Arches hot press, so that you can tell what I'm talking about. That didn't do too bad. Try something real quick. Yeah, it just doesn't want to bleed, really. I mean, it does a little bit, but not as much. It's not as much movement as either of these two up here. But that gradient came out nice. I like it's very smooth transition there. And maybe I just got better at painting it. That's always an option. Now, the pale dusty rose isn't actually watercolor paper. I'm just trying it out. It's art weight. So it's a heavy weight. It's a 200 gram. So, but it's not, I don't think it's sized. So I'm not sure how it will do. So we'll just try it out because it was so pretty. And it's got quite the texture on it. It's a very rough texture. but it seems to be holding up. It's not actually doing too bad. Let's see how the wet and wet does. And with that texture, it is harder to get the wet, you know, to spread the paint on.
Alright.
Yeah.
She had an accident right in the middle of the floor.
What?
Yeah. You wonder why we're home so early?
I thought I'd just been down here for a long time and didn't realize it. I'm so sorry. Let me finish this and then I'll be up. Did she just not want to stop to go potty? Or? It doesn't really.
Huh?
I'm talking to the camera. kind of a dry brush here so that you can see. Difference in texture. So I'm gonna let them dry. Let me see if I can lift up anything off of this. It really starts to get a bit ragged, but the color is coming up. Of course, I probably need some drier paper. But it's nice to know that the art weight looks like you could do watercolor on in different colors. So you don't have to just have white, you could have the various colors, which is kind of nice. I mean, it definitely gives a different feel to the painting. So I will come back when this is dry. So thank you, and if you're interested in supporting me, I have Trashy the Bears out, and I have a coloring book now out. And for this week and next week, there is a sale that we're doing. My publisher, which is Pennant Publications. Sorry, I can't spell. Pennant Publications. We are doing a book sale to raise money for Riley's Children's Fund, or their cheer fund, and we're going to be at Riley's on September 19th, 2007. So if you buy a book through Pennant Publications, any book on their website, mine or anyone else's, 20% is going to go to the Riley Cheer Fund. Or if you can be at Riley on the 19th, I hope that you're not at Riley at the 19th. I'm gonna hope that, but if you are, you can stop by, and we're gonna be reading our books and doing a book sale, and I'm really excited about it. So consider donating to the Rileys, and you know, even if you don't want to buy my book, just donate to Riley's. They're a really wonderful organization and very near and dear to my heart. So thank you, and have a lovely day. Bye.